Hello and welcome to Entertainment UK, where we bring you all the happening hits on the art scene around the country this week. Tonight there's something for everyone. We'll be kicking off with Basic Instinct, the film that's had gay protesters giving the plot away outside cinemas across the States.
You ever engage in any sadomasochistic activity?
Exactly what did you have in mind, Mr. Corelli?
And later on in the programme, we've got a profile of seriously hip crooner K.D. Lang. We chat to seriously strange man of the stage, Stephen Berkhoff, about his hobby, photography.
My mother used to say, "Is that woman still there?" He used to cry, "Carry back, Penny, carry back, Penny."
And we nibble on caviar with seriously skinny Anthony Andrews, just back from filming in Siberia.
The simple answer is don't eat, but I mean, I wouldn't recommend that to anybody.
Dutch director Paul Verhoeven's first two movies, Total Recall and RoboCop, established both his bankability and his reputation. His third film, Basic Instinct, has never been out of the headlines because of its explicit sex scenes and also his $3 million script. It stars Michael Douglas as a cop who becomes involved with his prime suspect, a bisexual best-selling novelist played by Sharon Stone.
What's your new book about?
A detective. He falls for the wrong woman.
What happens?
She kills him. It's a psychological mystery. It's a love story. I'll be a very sort of odd love story. And it's kind of a tale about what happens when you dally in the darkness a little too much.
Would you tell us the nature of your relationship with Mr. Boz?
I had sex with him for about 1.5 years. I liked having sex with him. He wasn't afraid of experimenting.
I think that there is an element of violence in all of us. There's a sexuality in all of us. And we learn to sublimate it through society. But when you find a good story and a character that allows you to at least expose or express those areas, I enjoy it, and I think it can hopefully make for some good filmmaking.
You ever engage in any sadomasochistic activity?
Exactly what did you have in mind, Mr. Corelli? You have to go so far out on a limb to play Catherine, because you must be ultimately as devious as you can be. I must seduce him with my mind. I must seduce him with my sexuality. I have to weave this web that he cannot pull himself out of.
You seem to know an awful lot about me.
You know an awful lot about me.
I don't know anything that's not police business.
You know I don't wear any underwear, don't you, Nick?
Basic Instinct caused a storm in the US where gay activists disrupted this year's Oscar ceremony in protest at the film's portrayal of its bisexual characters.
We had a big problem here in the United States with the gay community because they didn't look at the movie. The movie was not yet made. They started to read the script. They had a wrong interpretation. In Europe, we'll have a different situation. People have not been reading the script. The only thing they will see is the movie.
What happened? Did you get sucked into it? Did you like it too much?
I don't know what you're talking about.
There is no such thing as an uncontroversial Paul Verhoeven film. That's what he lives by. He's a very good stylist. He's a very controversial character. As for being anti-gay, that's completely ridiculous.
That's the point, wasn't it? That's what made it so good.
He thinks that Hollywood is a very conventional place, and he's come there to overturn those conventions. And, you know, 3 out of 3 huge hits. is something they can't deny. So Hollywood's in a quandary. They find him very dangerous, but at the same time so successful that they can't stop him.
She knew what was going on. I think he got too close to the flame.
The first few scenes of Sharon Stone, I thought she was going to drag out the languid, sexy woman. I thought, oh, this can't go on forever. But you do become hypnotized by her. And I liked her a lot, which is a bit worrying. I think it's the best thriller I've seen in years. Seriously sexy film. If you want a good night after, go and see Basic Instinct.
She knows where I live and breathe. She's coming after me, Gus.
She's been described by some as neither a country and western singer nor a pop artist. But KD, or Kathy Dawn Lang, is set to increase her fan base with her new, more pop-sensitive album, which sees her heading in a new direction. Canadian-born Lang has long been a thorn in the side of country and western purists. Her androgynous looks and ever-changing style has brought her loyalty from fans, but a snub by the country and western radio stations.
I certainly was accepted in the fact that Torch and Twang was the biggest selling female country record in the States at that time. But the fact that we never got airplay ever is a paradox in itself, which in retrospect I'm very satisfied with, because at the same time of being successful, I managed to retain a very alternative edge, which is very difficult to do.
Oh boy, here's my game, B&O's my middle name. I'm gone with that whistle wails, and that's why I'm riding the rail.
Country music is very, very conservative, and a woman who comes along with a performance art background and who spells her name in lowercase, K.D. Lang, is not going to appeal greatly to country music purists. They like a much more straight-ahead approach. That sort of twinkle in her eye, that sort of irony, all that cross-dressing, this is not going to appeal to the Nashville establishment, and it didn't.
Her new album, Ingenue, is a diversion from any of the Grammy Award winners' preceding work. Country music has taken a back seat.
It is a transition period for me. It is a step forward, but I don't think it's that much of a difference for me, because my early influences were people like Peggy Lee and Ella and classical and jazz. And country was this newfound love that I had to, you know, completely immerse myself in.
Out of nowhere, this gust of wind.
I think you can hear the debts to the singers of the 50s, the Peggy Lees and the Patsy Clines in what she does. I think now, though, in this new record, Ingenue, you can hear her drawing much more widely on sort of world musical sources as well. There are a lot of different ethnic musics from around the world, very subtly blended in the background of a lot of the tracks.
Another new direction for the singer-songwriter was her acting debut in Percy Adlon's Salmonberries, where she plays an orphan who becomes obsessed with a German widow.
Look around yourself, it's gone. The tower and the wires and the mines, the wall, it's gone.
She's been very widely praised by Madonna in the States, and I think her attitude to films is probably not dissimilar to Madonna's. It's a useful line, it's a useful sideline to have on the go. I don't think she probably has any plans to become a movie star.
So while films and other musical styles may preoccupy more of her time, where does country music now stand for KD?
I want people to know that country music's a big part of my musical makeup, but it's not the only thing I'm interested in.
And now we join Mark Chase for a bike ride around Norwich with the man who brought you Harry Enfield's Loads of Money.
In this introductory lesson, we'll be learning some simple words to acquaint ourselves with the language. First,
tree.
Tree.
Now, let's try it again. Tree.
Tree.
Nearly. Tree.
Charles Higson moved into writing scripts for Harry Enfield after a varied career as decorator, viz cartoonist and singer with Norwich band the Higsons. Now he's written his first novel, The King of the Ants, a book which heavily features the delights of cycling and pubs, so we decided to go on a pub crawl round Norwich.
There's no pubs in here. There are hundreds of pubs in Norwich.
It used to be the case that they had one for every day of the year, was that true?
Supposedly, yeah. I mean, sometimes I feel like I drank in all of them, but...
First stop is old local, the Plasterers. You had a band after you left university, and then ended up skipping from that into script writing. That's quite a quantum leap, isn't it?
Well, none of it was ever planned. It was just sort of things came up, and that's what I did. I mean, actually, between the two, that's when I was working as a decorator, because I'd had enough of the band and was finding that I could make money painting, so I did that. It's like everything else. I just knew the right people was in the right place at the right time. Harry was a friend. He was starting to do stand-up stuff, and started writing for him, and that was it, really.
The Loads of Money character, was that based upon somebody that you'd met then?
No, I mean, the actual Loads of Money phrase came from a Geordie friend of ours, where Southern football fans used to taunt me more than once with wads of fiver saying, look at that, eh, loads of money, you've never seen that before.
No, that's a lamppost. All right, it's a bloody tree, then.
To Shipston Road, where I used to live.
So when was the last time you came back here?
God, it must be at least 5 years ago.
And they probably still haven't changed the sheets, have they?
Yeah, I think that probably the neighbours are glad they've seen the last of us. Noisy students living next door. That's it, over there, the one with the blue... With
the blue drapepipe?
Yeah.
You loved it so much you drove straight past?
Yeah, well...
After being barred from the Plasterers, Charles switched allegiance to the Mitre.
It's not that difficult. All you got to do is lean your back against... Excused himself and went for a piss. There was a bloke in the toilet, younger than Sean, in a white tuxedo and crisp Italian jeans. Whoa, there goes all my money, said the boy. Lovely, lovely money, down the drain, tinkle, tinkle. Plenty more where that came from, eh, said Sean. Plenty more, loads and loads of lovely money, and I shall be drunk forever, forever and ever. Sean did up his flies, walked over to the boy, hooked his foot around his shin, and pulled away his support. Still pissing, the bloke yelled and slipped down into the gutter. Whoops-a-daisy, said Sean. You want to watch yourself. He washed his hands, checked himself in the mirror and went back to Matthews. Feel better for that, Matthews asked. Much.
So is that based on personal experience?
It's based on something I've always wanted to do.
What made you want to write the book?
God, that's a tough one to start on. What made me want to... I don't know. I mean, I just wrote it, really. No, I wrote it because it is actually about, I think, about the 6th novel I've written. The stuff I'd written before was very sort of arty, student experimental type stuff. And I found that I was actually reading straightforward American thrillers, so I thought I'd try and write something like that, except based in England, and obviously based on my experiences and very much set where I was living and the sort of people that I knew at the time.
What are you looking at? No. No, please, stop that.
So aside from television and writing books, you got any other projects?
Well, I'm afraid, yes, I've actually written a film.
So have you got any other projects in the pipeline?
You just asked me that.
You got any plans to move into movies? Soul sensations Diana Brown and Barrie K. Sharpe are back on the scene with a brand new band, the Sons of Judah, a groove-laden LP, and presumably some rather natty clothing.
Let's join hands together, the black, the white, the yellow and the brown. Let's join hands together, the black, the white, the yellow, and the brown.
What we're truly trying to aim for is a 90s version of JB's, Finer Family Stone, that sort of general 70s feel. But not sounding like them, you know, we still got our own sound. But the way they set it up was right. That's that big sound, that big production, you know, horns, keyboards, guitars going all over the place.
Barrie has also established himself in the fashion world with his Soho shop, Duffer of St. George.
Being a designer as well helps with the press side of it. Music world don't always take me seriously. Think, oh yeah, another designer, doing a bit of music, bit of press, bit of hype. But it's actually much more than that. And if you want to, you know, if you hear the album, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Sing about?
Well, we sing about love and peace and unity, basically, and, well, that's it, isn't it, really?
Oneness. That's the peace sign, oneness.
One world, one race, one creed and one colour. 'Cause I believe, yeah, we should love one another.
Stick around. After the break, we'll be bringing you news from new LA flick Grand Canyon, starring Steve Martin and Kevin Kline, and music from the fabulously funky Ronny Jordan. Here's a taster.
I got a tale that's never been told. Get to grips and handle your soul. I got a tale that's never been told. Get to grips and handle your soul. I got a tale that's never been, never been, never been, never been, never been, never been told.
Look what hard water does. It dries and leaves watermarks and dull surfaces. And it builds up into lime scale.
But now you can brighten up your home with new Viacal.
Viacal?
Yes, Viacal. It is a remarkable name, but then it works in a remarkable way. Fizzing into action to fizz away lime scale.
It tackles the taps, and it makes stainless steel stainless again. In fact, Viacal fizzes back the brightness every time you use it.
It's the Viacal fizz that does the biz.
You do.
Ryvita, high in fibre and only 25 calories per slice. Zip into shape with Ryvita for the perfect fit.
Oh, happy day. Poof. Listerine is clinically proven to work against plaque. Listerine twice a day helps take breath away and keep plaque at bay.
Put Persil in your machine and dial. A birthday suit white. Towels bright. A home team clean. With Persil in your machine, you get your sweatshirt bright. Cyclists right. A hold me tight. So in your machine you dial 7 dwarfs bright, 5 piggies white, flying colours clean. Pour Persil in your machine and get a stocking shocking. Flowers fresh, a spring clean. Choose Persil and get the whole wash right.
Now the man they called the sheriff was bad beyond belief. Mean as a rattlesnake, low down dirty thief. So the town called for help and along came
me. He's the milk of our kids.
The Milky Market is strong and tough, and only the best is good enough. The creamiest milk, the whitest bar, the good taste that's in Milky Bar.
The Milky Bars are on me.
Milky Bar, so creamy white, Nestle Milky Bar.
Max Factor International creates impact with the bold new, rich new, high-definition lipstick. It fills your lips with high-density color for full color impact. New high-definition lipstick from Max Factor International. Impact by Max Factor.
Did you know I'm the hottest thing in town? Oh, no, you're not. This is.
The new singer from Kentucky Fried Chicken. A whole breast fillet of chicken with a crispy coating and a hot and spicy taste.
But nothing's hotter than me.
The new singer from Kentucky Fried Chicken.
It's hot.
Welcome back. Ironically appearing just weeks after the disturbing events in LA, Grand Canyon takes a sideways look at the weird world of Tinseltown.
You ever been to the Grand Canyon? When you sit on the edge of that thing, you just realize what a joke we people are.
What I like in a film is if you give a toss about them, and I didn't care less what happened to any of them.
I thought this was the biggest load of pretentious twaddle I've seen in a long time.
Bit boring.
What is Steve Martin doing in the film?
Now, Steve Martin's bits, but his bits are funny.
What is the theory on this handkerchief thing? I mean, after you blow your nose in it, you put it back in your pocket, and then you see someone in distress, and you, like, give them this gift from your pocket, and they're supposed to be grateful as they wipe it all over their face?
It's a film about nuances. There's so much humor in that, you know. There's so much humor in moments that are honest. They're honest moments, you know.
It's trying to make LA the microcosm, and it... I've got a headache now.
So you upset him now because you've asked him about the microcosm of LA.
She's beautiful, isn't she?
What's the story?
I found her. I was jogging and I heard this crying and I looked under this bush.
Wait. Where was this?
In Carmelina, just around the corner, so I looked under the bushes and there she was.
When was this?
This morning.
This morning? What time?
Around 9:30, I guess.
What did the police say?
Hmm?
My guess is the police did not say. Hmm?
It's about what's happening right now in our country, in our society.
It's kind of relevant to what happened, you know, in LA with the riot and everything. And I think the police chiefs and the rest of, you know, the attorneys at law over there can go see the film and say, damn, why didn't we do that? Then there wouldn't be all this trouble.
Why don't you get out of the car, mister?
Oh, what you so nervous about, man?
No, there's nothing. There's nothing that redeems this film at all from the cesspit of stuff that it is. I've got a headache again.
It's got a headache.
My head pounding in syncopation to my throbbing wound, there came a glorious, delicate dawn. And I knew I can't make those movies anymore. I can't make another piece of art that glorifies violence and bloodshed and brutality. I can't contribute another stone to this landslide of dehumanizing rage that has swept across this country like a pestilence. That's a mixed metaphor, isn't it? Anyway.
In 1973, an ex-journalist called Steve Nice formed a band. He changed his name to Harley, and Cockney Rebel had a string of hits. 18 years on, Steve Harley is alive and well and on tour with some new material and some old classics like this one.
You've done it all, broken every code, of the rebel to the floor. You spoke the game, no matter what you say. For only metal, what a bore. Blue eyes, how come you tell so many lies? Come up and see me, make me smile. Oh, I do what you want, running wild.
To do the obvious hits is a pleasure. I mean, it would be so silly, it would be churlish of me to play that kind of show and not play Make Me Smile. They'd walk out saying, what is it with him? What's wrong with him? You've thrown a wobbler. What's up with Harley? You know? Wouldn't you? I mean, I would.
There ain't no more. Taking everything.
I decided 3 years ago to start touring, and we've played almost 300 shows in that time to about 1.25 million people.
How can you ignore my hate? I know what faith is and what it's worth. Try. You'll not be saving, baby.
2 years ago, John Malkovich, star of Dangerous Liaisons, took London's West End by storm with his fiery debut in Burn This.
No. You get me mad here. Now, I live with this bitch for 16 years, and all that we ever do is yell. I have never, ever touched her, not once. I never felt nothing for her.
How would you be with somebody that you felt something for?
How the do I know? I never felt nothing for anybody. Now, what is it you want, huh?
Now he's back in A Slip of the Tongue by Dusty Hughes. He plays an Eastern European dissident writer coming to terms with his politics and his sexuality during the Velvet Revolution.
I presume you've made contact with the movement.
I knew about the movement.
There's a new movement.
I didn't see anything wrong with the old one.
What do you mean when you say
What
the
do you
old
mean
one?
when you say the new one?
John Malkovich was a founder member of Chicago's Steppenwolf Theatre, where this premiere production of A Slip of the Tongue was originally tried out. The play is inspired by the real-life experiences of exiled Slovak author Dominik Tatarka. 4 women are shown exposing the writer's political and sexual dilemmas as the Berlin Wall crumbles.
You are very kind and very beautiful, if I may say so.
I'm not. Look at my nose.
Why is it that the ones who struck it lucky when most of the features and things were dished out continually fix on some small flaw so that it expands in their consciousness like a fungus? This is a political metaphor. You'll notice that when I speak more than 3 sentences together, it's a political metaphor. You are very beautiful, Isabel.
I heard you're a womanizer.
The appeal of the subject matter was the danger and the sexual danger precipitated by spying, by, if you like, dishonesty. And it seemed to me that in that situation you could weave a play where the public issues and private ones were completely intertwined throughout.
Some of the issues, I think, that the play either addresses or invokes or skirts, whatever the case may be, are very present issues in today's society, I think, sort of men-women issues and the nature of dissent. You're an athlete, I take it.
What makes you say that?
How do you keep fit in the winter?
Well, we've only just met. I'm not going to tell you everything about myself.
Your thigh muscles are strong, like an antelope, like a gazelle.
If you can't come and speak, I'd like to know why.
It all comes down to talent, doesn't it?
The bacteria in this sink have to be seen to be believed.
I can't help thinking of Brando when I see Malkovich. I saw Malkovich first in America when he was playing Willy Loman's son in Death of a Salesman with Dustin Hoffman as Willy Loman. And I found my eye was always straying away from Hoffman towards Malkovich because it was an extraordinary presence, sort of dark and brooding and intensely sexual. And you felt there was something, some strange quality going on underneath.
Like the young Brando, Malkovich on stage and screen can emit a powerful sexual charge. Sex and seduction dominate the public perception of Malkovich, thanks to just a handful of steamy roles. But Malkovich the man is at pains to divorce himself from Malkovich the actor.
I'm a professional actor. What you bring to different roles is rarely how you are. If you play a homosexual poet, that's what you play. Or any of a million things I played. It's all terribly funny, grim but hilarious. Your timing is superb. A gift of your father, obviously.
You know my father. I'm Katya. Katya? Lip.
Lip?
Jerry Lip's daughter.
All right. Well, you know what I like.
No.
They told you.
Oh.
The ones who sent you, otherwise why would you be here? Hmm?
The top 3 films this week, according to Flicks magazine, go like this. At number 3, Richard Gere falls prey to 2 sizzling sisters in Final Analysis.
Does that look? Were you giving me a look in there?
No, I wasn't looking at you.
No?
I was looking at your wife.
In second place, grown-up kid Robin Williams plays Peter Pan in Spielberg's Hook.
Oh, no. That's finally happened. I'm having a total nervous breakdown.
Come on, Peter, follow me and all will be well.
Oh, my God, where are we going?
Save your children, of course.
How do you know about my kids?
Everybody knows. Captain Hook's got him and you've got to fight him. Let's fly!
At number 1, Every Mother's Nightmare. Psychological thriller, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle.
Sidewalk! Ouch! My arm! My arm! Ow!
I got a message for you, Roth. Leave Emma alone. Look at me.
Okay.
If you don't, I'm gonna rip your head off.
And our competition tonight is about Basic Instinct, the film that everyone's talking about. We've got 5 sets of CDs, books, posters, and some of these special T-shirts to give away. All you have to do is answer this simple question. What is the name of the leading actress in Basic Instinct? If you think you know the answer, just call this number, 0898 700 142.
I'm in a stinky, filthy, dirty, rotten abattoir, and I am here to meet a writer, actor extraordinaire. But did you know he can take photographs like this? Stephen Berkhoff, hello.
How do you do? Yeah.
Good to see you.
Thank you, lovely to see you again.
There's an image there. Where's this guy from? Did you find him down the East End?
Yeah, he's from the East End. He's almost turned his face into a weapon. You feel like his head is like a battering ram.
Is it a hobby or is it something you treat seriously? Is what I'm trying to find out here.
Well, it's a hobby, but I treat it seriously because with a camera, you always have a friend. So if you're a bit short on friends, you want to go out on a Sunday, you go out with your camera. As I was going through the East End taking the pictures, as I came back 2 or 3 years later, I noticed that the shops and little shopkeepers and these little stall holders had gone, and the very streets had gone. So I started to think that it would be really very useful to try and capture the East End before it actually disappears. My mother used to say, "Is that woman still there?" He used to cry out, "Carry back, Penny, carry back, Penny," because it was obviously a penny then. So she was in this place, standing by this store for at least a half a century. I went back there 10 years later, and she's still there, but she's shrunk. This is my, alternative Tatler. So instead of seeing these soporific, kind of suppurating kind of faces in Tatler, these people never be in Tatler, so it's an alternative Tatler. Give them a bit of spotlight, give them center stage for a few minutes.
Borrowing bits from gospel music, Miles Davis and George Benson, Londoner Ronny Jordan has discovered rap and created a groove all of his own.
I gotta tell that's never been told. Get to grips and handle your soul. I gotta tell that's never been told. Get to grips and handle your soul. I gotta tell that's never been, never been, never been, never been, never been, never been told.
I broke the rules. I never went to school. I never went to music school, shall I say, to learn to write or to compose music. I just do it my way, arranging wise, you know. Someone will say you're not supposed to do that, but I don't care, you know. I do what's right for me.
Street, full of pitfalls and traps like doors that snap. So roll them over on your thinking gap a gap. Slap the face of the force and knock you off course. You're locked into a new source with no remorse. You're moving towards your designated destination.
What I aim to do with my music is to cross over to a broad territory and to appeal to as much people as possible. I mean, I've got to be straight and upfront about this, but a lot of what I've been hearing lately I don't like. So therefore, I believe music should go back to what it used to be. You know, enjoyable music, listenable, you know, something you can relax to.
Never been told. Now come down, Ronny, Sharpe.
I'd like a bit of chart success now and again, but I'd like to have that underground cult thing. That's special. Because once you lose that, then you lose all credibility. I don't want to lose that.
A tale of the world and it is sinking like a ship. Not being cryptic when I say I must kick this one out to those who are drowning and down in the dark stuff. Be clowning and frowning as I pump some fresh data in order to separate the positive from the negative that frustrates a person. Then he or she worsens and starts to curse and feels like cursing that would seem they must lean towards a theory that the weak and weary can always get up and stop the lives from being dreary and drab and sad like you lost the love you had. Get to grips on life won't be as bad as being at the end of your tether. By getting to grips with the load that you carry can be as light as a feather. Get your hips moving to these three words that pass my lips and lazy. Get to grips, so just get to grips.
Don't go away. There's more arts and entertainment news from around the UK in part 3, including a roundup of the hottest films on video, Nicola Paget in classic Pirandello.
I want to be your mad child.
And jazz from South Africa.
With new Sun Progress, you only need half the normal amount. And because it works, like dozens of hands, to give everything that personal touch, it's the best micro dishwasher powder you can buy. With Sun Progress, you're in good hands.
The burn of acid indigestion. Rennie works fast. For fast, effective relief of indigestion and heartburn, take Rennie.
A little turkey, a little game. Tigger will never be the same. A little shrimp, a little salmon. To Ben is absolutely heaven. Whisker's select menus in easy-to-serve single portions. Cats instinctively know what they like and what's good for them. Cats would buy Whiskers.
Now, CoverGirl introduce professional mascara for today's top models who demand great eyes. The professionally designed curved brush lengthens and defines each lash. Watch that curve as it follows your lash line. For lashes that are big and beautiful, throw them a curve. Ask for professional mascara from CoverGirl.
As a clothes designer, colour is as important to me as style. But while styles come and go, there's now something new for colours that will be in fashion for years to come. New Ariel Colour. I was asked to try it. It's a new main wash powder for the whole wash that cleans tough stains without bleaching the colours. Ariel Colour's got a unique Colour Plus system. The bleaching agents have been taken out and they've put in colour-safe stain digesters that can digest even tricky stains. Chocolate ice cream, for example. Look, after one wash, some powders may leave some behind. But of course, being Ariel, Ariel Colour gets it out. And after 20 washes, this jet black cotton top could have ended up a bleached out charcoal grey. Ariel Colour keeps it jet black. It's great for getting clothes clean. And for colours, brilliant.
Ariel Colour sets a new fashion in washing powder by digesting stains without bleaching out colours.
It'll certainly be in my collection.
How can we make Snickers even more satisfying? More chocolate? More caramel? Or maybe more peanuts? Snickers, now with more peanuts. More peanuts, more satisfaction.
A refugee from the horrors of apartheid, Bheki Mseleku came to London in 1985 to work with the likes of Hugh Masekela and Abdullah Ibrahim. Now regarded as one of the finest exponents of uncluttered jazz, he still doesn't own a piano.
since I've started playing music, I've never owned an instrument, a piano, and you know, because it's very, very hard for musicians, you know. And also maybe the changing, going to different countries because of my situation of not being able to stay, you know, back in South Africa in the situation that it was. So I haven't been able to save some money to buy a piano. To say that I've composed a song would be wrong because that song is related to everything that exists. I'm in the universe and I'm influenced by water, by my steps, by the birds that sing, by the rain and the thunder, you know. Obviously, there's a lot of guns in the world now. I hope I don't bring much of that in me, rather to try and bring peace. I think people need healing, just as I do need healing as well, because I'm not a master. I think once we've played and people had been there in the club, when they leave, they're not the same any longer, even if they won't notice it. We're trying to express love, basically, and happiness. You know? I don't see any other reason for being alive. You know?
A new production of Nobel Prize-winning Italian dramatist Luigi Pirandello's comedy The Rules of the Game opens at the Almeida this week. Now, this rarely performed 1918 play has been adapted by David Hare and stars Richard Griffiths as the cuckolded husband and Nicola Paget as his fun-loving wife.
We've talked enough of this. I'm tired.
I'm leaving.
No!
Well, I have a lover, with his permission.
When you say permission, I'm not sure.
Well, you don't say no.
He doesn't say no. He doesn't say yes. He doesn't say no.
Which is one of the reasons she goes off her head, isn't it?
They made a mistake. They asked for your forgiveness.
We've talked enough.
There are two overriding emotions. One is love and the other is anger, which actually becomes hatred. And when you hate, it's got a very slow burn on it, and you can spread hate over many, many years, which is what happened in this marriage.
I would have danced in the square.
She's passionate, she's sexual, she's difficult, but as luck would have it, they are mismatched. And therein lies the... She's a creature of feeling, and he's a creature of intellect, if I may make so bold.
I want to be your mad child.
Everyone deceives themselves all the time. That really isn't what the play's about. It's not about deception. But the thing is, we're Italian. That's the hard part, isn't it? We're not English.
Yeah. Well, we're not supposed to be. No. But I'm English.
I'm English, too.
But it's informed by an Italian literary ethic.
Literary fame came late to Pirandello, but by the 1920s, the success of his plays led Mussolini to become his patron. For many years afterwards, his work was sidelined because of his association with the fascist dictator.
By the end of his life, he died in 36, he infuriated Mussolini and the regime, and in fact, he insisted that that he not have a state funeral. In fact, Mussolini said, there he goes, slamming the door, as usual.
Well, you're quite right. I often think this man's been sent to be my devil.
Oh, go to the devil yourself.
You see? It's a problem. You can't get the staff.
You can't get the staff.
It veers between psychological drama, between farce, and between Strindberg. It's an extraordinarily compacted play, so you get short scenes which swing wildly from one extreme to another.
Now, what are you doing?
Keep beating, for God's sake. You must never slow down. I'm not. Look, I'm beating. Oh, this is impossible.
But I think he cooks for the one solid, simple pleasure he's allowed to have in his life that doesn't get in the way of anything. Sex, politics, and religion might dominate our lives, but everybody eats, and you're allowed to cook at any level you like.
I'm going to work in the kitchen. Oh, no, please, don't go. I'll be quiet, I promise. I won't say a word. I'll be quiet as a germ.
It's too Italian to be depressing. It's not, they're not depressed. I would never call an Italian depressed. I've never seen a depressed Italian, have you?
No. Well, I did after the World Cup.
Oh, yeah. That was more sort of crucified
depressing.
rather than depressed. I mean, that was annihilated.
I'm actually into M&S. I'm not into S&M, but I do like BT. Thanks.
Here's our roundup of recent films now on video.
Look, I want you to keep an open mind. Okay. All right? You can open your eyes now.
Keep an open mind. Ah! You made me into a white guy? I can't believe this. A little normal makeup is fine.
Yeah, I did. I walked past my sister in New York, and she just didn't know who the hell it was talking to her. Until I said, "Sharon, why are you talking to me anymore?" And she went like this. It was quite amazing. She started to cry. She thought I was lost forever. It was quite alarming.
Man, this ain't gonna make it, brother. I mean, look at the way these white people are walking, man. Look at him. They walk with their butts real tight. If you ask me, they're the reason God invented talcum powder. I mean, look at him. You're great for something, bitch.
I want to see a major display of low-level flying. Topper, Kent, you're up first. Show me what you can do. Copy that. Pepper fluffer nutter.
Some very funny moments. You've got to listen out. There's lots of little things. There's one point where a man says, "Milli Vanilli Nilly Willy," which made me laugh a lot.
For your information, I'm at 150 feet. I'm at 3rd and Main. Very pretty, but enough hot-dogging, Harley. Just checking the traffic.
Hot Shots, you see, spoof on Top Gun. If I'd had my way, I would have called it Top Shots, and it would just been a sad spoof of inadequate high street fashion. But that's just me.
Delivery. I'll take it.
Hey! You can't go in there.
Hi, I'm Lori Craven, and I'm an actress.
An actress? Really? How nice for you. I'm Betsy Faye Sharon, and I'm a bitch.
So a wonderful send-up of American soaps and the whole American television nonsense. And it's just a wonderful spoof from beginning to end.
That was completely unprofessional.
That was unprofessional. What was that crap you were trying to pull on me, huh?
I was just trying to get the scene right. I'm a perfectionist. You know that?
Things are hard for me right now. In life and on the show, okay?
Things were hard for me 20 years ago when you spat me out and left me for dead.
And you're back to return the favor. That's what this is, some kind of revenge thing.
Oh, don't flatter yourself. I'm here for me. I got a chance at a career, and I'm not going to blow it this time.
It was really, really fun. It's a lot of fun to play someone who's so very, very sweet. And the minute they say, God, that, she's a complete and utter horrible human being. Not that Celeste is totally a horrible human being. There's something you like about her. Or you at least forgive her.
What happened to your career was not my fault.
That's not how I see it.
If I hurt you, I'm really sorry. I was very young.
Not anymore, babe.
Like some kind of tribe. They got their own language. You can't just walk up to those guys. You have to get out there and learn the moves, get into their head, pick up the speech.
You trying to tell me the FBI is going to pay me to learn to surf?
It's either you or me out there on the board. You get my drift?
Angelo, this is for little rubber people who don't shave yet. Hey, we're starting a film where we get to surf and skydive.
Ever done this before?
No, but I've seen it on TV.
100% pure adrenaline.
The scariest thing I ever did was go out of this plane. The only way to deal with it is you go 100% into sensory overload. I mean, fear's gone. When I started skydiving, this is when it gave me Bodie, this character. It gave me back that adrenaline junkie part of my life.
What? Pull the shit, Bodie! You are crazy! No games, Bodie! Pull the cord now! Go ahead, Johnny, pull it! You gotta drop the gun, right? If you use your other hand, what are you gonna hold on with? Pull it right now! 6 seconds! It's gonna be me, Waffles! 5, 4, 3, pull it! Pull it! Now!
Anthony Andrews is one of Britain's most gilded, gorgeous and best-known actors, whose career has ranged from Brideshead Revisited to Danger UXB, and now his new film, which is set in Russia, which is why, of course, he's chosen Caspia, the caviar restaurant, for his main course. While you were making the film, did you eat anything, or did you have to just sort of starve yourself because you're so thin in it?
I lost, I think, about, I'm told, somewhere about 26 pounds. I stopped counting.
Crikey.
But,
Gosh, that's a lot.
Well, it was a lot, but
because you're quite thin anyway, aren't you?
I didn't think, well, thank you very much.
You look quite thin. I can't really say.
Actually,
I'm not really
all come back
staring
on
into your
again,
jacket.
But it was odd, because I started, I mean, I quite often try and lose the odd pound before I start doing something. But this was somewhat more extensive than that.
Ну, совсем доходной, что ли, стал? Ну, ладно.
I thought I was terribly, terribly thin, you see. I thought I'd done terribly well, and I stood there like pudding face. By comparison to all these hand-picked, extraordinary-looking faces. So I knew I had a long way to go, and a lot of work to do.
So what did you do to lose all that weight?
Well, I mean, the simple answer is don't eat, but I mean, I wouldn't recommend that to anybody. In fact, this whole dieting game is so dangerous and so odd that I mean, I wouldn't recommend it to anybody who didn't really have to do it, because you can't mess with yourself that much. You simply can't decide 1 minute you're going to get thin and then decide you're going to put it all back on again, because the muscles don't react that way. And the muscles waste away when you take that much weight off, and you lose them. So then you've got to do things like I've never done in my life before. You've got to start doing exercises and all that kind of, it's a terrible lot.
Did you eat caviar all the time, I suppose?
Well, not all the time.
You must be just completely sick of this.
Not at all, I love it. But the weirdest thing about it, of course, is that caviar is very, very difficult to get in Russia. And
is it? I expected it to be incredibly cheap, and
well,
that you were in your non-Winnebago cramming it down.
I had some, quite a lot of it. But I mean, the only way to get hold of it is either you see, we as tourists are privileged enough to be able to go to the Berkhoff shops and the hard currency stores where the Russians cannot go, unless they're diplomats or have got particularly special status. And so we can swan in there and pick up a can of caviar if they've got it in. And also you can get it on the black market. I mean, so it's about. But your average Russian in the street certainly couldn't afford it and hasn't seen it for a long time.
There's a certain amount of image, I think, for you, that you seem such an aristocrat.
Wait a minute, yeah. I mean, that's all.
You just attack that caviar at that.
Caviar. Who said?
But do you not think that's part of the problem, that maybe people perceive you as such a gilded youth?
But I don't know who these people are that perceive. You see, I mean, I think that what's happened, really, is that you do something like Brideshead or something like that, and it causes, thankfully, such a wonderful wave on the back of which, I mean, I've done a lot of wonderful, interesting work, so I'm more than grateful. What it does is it creates a wave that is perpetuated and is good copy for the press.
So you're forever going to have to be a bit of a sissy with a teddy bear.
Of course.
Now, you've been to this restaurant before, haven't you?
I have. In fact, the last time I was here was mother-in-law's birthday party.
And was that a riot?
It was a riot, really, due to a number of different things, amongst which was something that's not a million miles away from it this very minute in time. You won't try this, I suppose, will you? Well,
Did you get roaring drunk?
Well, no, we just had a touch of this afterwards, which is worth having. It's cherry vodka.
I just throw the glass over your shoulder.
Yeah. In Russia, they kind of put them upside down.
of you will have noticed that suddenly fatherhood is hip, with major stars around the world queuing up to be photographed for magazine covers with their new offspring. But for ex-Young One and comedian Nigel Planer, he's out to prove that fatherhood is not all as smooth as a baby's bottom for the new man. Are you a bit of a new man? Weeny bit?
A weeny bit, yes. A weeny bit. No, I've written a book to get rid of all the new men, really. Inside every new man is a slavering beast walking down the up escalator so that he can stare at the underwear ads a bit longer.
Really? Do you do lots of work with your
Yeah,
baby
I
at home?
changed the nap. I spent 5 minutes with my child and it like completely changed my life, you know. Me and Warren.
Why did you write the book?
Sorry, yes. Why did I write the book? Because I needed the money.
Do you think men will buy it or women?
Ah, now that's a good point. I don't know. I think women will buy it for men, and men won't read it, but the women will.
Joan Armatrading will be launching her new album with a nationwide tour in June. Here's the new single, Wrapped Around Her. Well, that's it for tonight, but not to worry. We'll be back again next week with more tasty news and rave reviews from the entertainment world. And we'll be bringing you the hilarious new Chevy Chase movie, Memories of an Invisible Man. See you soon.